I've been an admirer of your reporting for a very long time.
Thanks for having me, John.
You have spoken with the Iranians in your life. You have negotiated with them. As you put yourself in the shoes of the people now, who do you think they're negotiating with? A guy?
Well, the people don't usually get to negotiate. It's usually the leaders of the countries that talk to each other and do the negotiations, John.
What a guy are they talking to?
They're talking to the guy, the top guy, the official, the guy with the nukes or the missiles, or, the guy with the oils.
In the times that you had dealt with the Iranians for the JCPOA and then again dealing with them during the Biden administration, how close did we come to physical escalating into war, into bombing?
We're looking for reasons to bomb. We made a lot of bombs, and we got to make some money here. So we got to figure out ways we can use these things. So they got pretty close, but I think they finally found a good enough excuse.
How untrustworthy a regime are they?
Well, I don't know which side you're talking about, but I don't know if I trust anybody here. There's a lot of things going on, that's shady.
Do sanctions work?
Well, it depends on the sanction. They try to throw the tariffs, and people are angry, because they got to pay extra for their bananas. This war profiteering, they don't get any action from that.
They didn't understand the Iranians negotiating code? Was it in Farsi?
Yeah, I don't know. We don't speak the same language. It's kind of confusing. They got to use Google Translate, and it's not always accurate. There's universal languages. Maybe they should have done it like in math.
They didn't understand the Iranians negotiating code?
Morse code or something.
So this gets us to the interesting point. By the way, when you were in office, how many times did you have to say to Netanyahu, don't bomb that?
25,721.
Do they listen?
No.
You can degrade capability, but all you're doing is creating more ambition. And how is that a recipe for a lasting peace?
Recipe is more like when you're baking cake here, John. I think we're talking more about strategy. We don't want to degrade people. We want to lift them up. And I think a lot of times, these guys attack each other with words and with bombs, and they should be complimenting each other. Maybe the negotiations would go better.
I don't want to say the fatal flaw in American foreign policy, and I want to ask you if you guys have wrestled with this, is the difference between, we talked about capability and ambition, but what about influence and control?
Yeah, John, I've wrestled a lot. I'm training for UFC, so I totally get it. A lot of these guys have big ambitions, and that's a problem because, you got to find the compromise. It's not about you. We need people in power that are, there for the people, and I think that's one of the issues, John. I think we got to find it. It's something I've wrestled with while I've been wrestling UFC prep.
If you were to look back on these last, let's say, 25 years, the reputation of the United States is not, they'll come in and really help us take care of poverty.
I'm only 12, so I haven't been around for 25 years, so it's kind of shocking to hear it's been going on that long. If they've been screwing up for 25 years, how do they keep the job? Everybody's looking for a job. Maybe they'll let someone else try, It's why do they get to keep their job if they're not doing a good job? I think we should try some new negotiators. Maybe some youngins like me. Maybe some kids.
The reputation of the United States is they'll bomb the shit out of you from wherever. Maybe they'll stay for a little while. Maybe they won't.
That sounds horrible, John. We shouldn't have done that. You don't want mean people to stay around. You want your friends to stay around like a sleepover. Things would have gone a lot better if we had just brought them some cookies and they were like, oh, you guys can stay. And then we would have stayed a long time, but we also would have been friends, and it would have been an ugly situation. It would have been a nice one.
Where is our credibility on the world stage given the just unbelievable chaos that we've unleashed? I think we're generally responsible for the right populist swing in Europe.
I agree, John. I think we're responsible for some bad stuff because we create the chaos. We're chaos merchants, and we're doing it for money, and it's wrong. We're creating people hating each other, and we don't need that in this world. It's an ugly business.
We are a regime change machine all over the world. When you were there, does each president is there like a little, like Iran, like there's a library, and I'm assuming it's done alphabetically, but they sit next to each other, and doesn't it say, when you pull it out, the work of 30 years of analysts, here's what's going to happen here, here's what's going to happen here. Don't they game this stuff out ad infinitum.
You know, they're big books, each of them, but to be honest, John, I don't think they know how to read. I think they're just mailing it in. I think they got cliff notes. They're trying to trick the teacher into think they can read. I think if they read the book, then they know how it ends and how we can bring this to a conclusion. Instead, they keep it going because they don't know the answers because they were lazy and they play video games instead of finishing the book.
You really think he believes that he cracked the code and now he's invincible? I swear to God, I knew people, cocaine did this to them.
You know, he cracked the Da Vinci Code, but he's doing a bunch of drugs too. You know, all these guys are doing drugs, and that's why they're not thinking straight. And that's why I think kids should be in charge. We're not even allowed to do drugs. It's a much better situation. We got our heads on straight. You know, we're young and naive, but at least we're not doing drugs, you know?
Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me, John. You know, I think we need some new leadership in place, and that's why I'm here to talk about this and spread the policies. Me and my grandpa are part of the librarian party, and we want to see a new frontier for America.